Welcome back to Lego Man Vlogs, and at the request of one of my friends, I'm going to make a video about this here 86 GMC Caballero, but better known as the Chevrolet El Camino. I'll start off here with the 360 review of the vehicle. I've got Firestone tires on it, but they're pretty worn out and need to be replaced. It's a lot longer than your average car, and of course it's got that signature feature of the Caballero, which is the bed. Now, some people would call this a truck, because like this, it has a bed, and it actually has a truck motor in it, but it's actually a car. And the reason that it's a car is because it is riding on the same frame and suspension as a conventional car. The car this was based off of was actually a 1980 period Chevrolet Malibu. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a place in Florida. So I'll go around on the other side, and if you're a car guy, or well, anybody with good eyes, you'll notice my rust issues here on the fenders, and that's an issue that may or may not be fixed in the future. However, the bed though is in, I don't know why this toe strap's in here. The bed though is in very good condition. You can see here that was the original metal, but it's got a coating kind of like what you'd put on the floor of a Jeep. And one of the attractive features of this car, well, one of the main ones anyway, is that curved glass. The glass isn't a solid piece, it actually comes to a curve around the end. Let's move on. Oh, haven't showed you the tailgate yet. So yeah, it's a truck. It has to have a tailgate. I don't have license plates or anything on it now. It's got the 4.3 sticker, and that's how many liters are in the engine block. Gotta pull that thing. Now you'll notice, farther away into it, it doesn't take a lot of force to cause, well, come on. It doesn't take a lot of force for that to go down, and that's because, like I said, it's riding on car suspension. And it has a nifty feature to lock on the gas cap. Actually, I have a brand new gas cap. So onto the interior. Some mud my father left in there. Thanks, Neil. God damn it, Neil. And one of the things I liked about this car was, yeah, it's a car and it's a three-seat bench, but it's got just a bunch of room behind the back seat there. I know you can't see that, but there's enough for me to stick my arm all the way down in behind there. I'm going to start, it's already got the jack in there, and on the opposite side it folds forward the same way, but it's got the spare tire in there. Being a 1986, it's got all the classic types of things. The air conditioner is currently broken. That's something I'll probably work on in a future video. We've got a tape deck, and with having a tape deck, I can have me I'm not sure what it's called, but it goes into the tape deck, hooks directly up to the aux cord, which is apparently dying out due to iPhone's inconsiderate murder of the earbud hole. So I'm going to set up my camera here, and then I'll set it here by the rear exhaust, and you can see this puppy growl. On the rear here, I have dual MagnaFlow exhausts. You might not know what that is, but MagnaFlow is one of the premier brands in exhaust, especially if you're doing it custom for an automobile like this, or even an off-road rig. Alright, let me walk my way around to the front, and I'll crank her up for you guys. Now, I didn't leave it on long because I didn't want to fill my garage with deadly gases and whatnot, but I'm sure you could get a taste, especially when you saw that sucker rumble as it turned it on. I would have left it on had I thought of it, but sometimes the hood shakes, and that's not I don't necessarily view that as a bad thing. I just see it as something mean. Alright, so here, I'll pop the hood for you guys in a second. Okay? And once again, I would have left it running if I thought of it, but So it's got the 4.3 fuel injection, and according to my father, it says fuel injected, and it technically is, but it's just fuel injecting into the carburetor. Sorry, I noticed my flashlight wasn't on. So this here is our issue. This is the this compressor. I actually have a truck sitting outside with the same 4.3 V6, so we're just going to steal the compressor off of that because the air conditioner and that has other problems beyond that. And as you can see, this open wheel is not connected there to the block. So as you can see, I got a foot here of extra fan shroud, and that is because this car is big enough to have at least a small block V8, but it doesn't, and I'm actually a little thankful for that. That's actually all fan shroud there. I'm actually thankful it doesn't have V8, because if I'm going to use this son buck as a daily driver, I don't need that consuming all of my gas. I'll give you a little tour of it. I actually bought it from this, I wouldn't call him sleazy, but you know, he had that look. He was in St. Louis. Yep. So originally I would have had a GM label on that hood piece there, but I don't. And I'm actually, I'll show you that. I'm actually thankful I have a hood ornament. I might eventually replace it, but for now it's okay. When you're sitting here in the driver's seat, it's good for, it's good to have that there, so I exactly know where the end of my hood is, especially pulling into this garage. And it does not have a manual transmission, but it has a few other manual things, like the windows, which for some reason, unbeknownst to me, are the smoothest things when they're coming down and up, as compared to an old farm truck. That's what I'm used to. It has some issues with air seals, like driving down the interstate. It feels like the windows are open, but they're not. And there's also issues with air coming through the door into here. And it's actually got, back up here. So it got manual adjusts for the mirrors. Just proof that everything does not have to be that complicated. And I've got some newer headlights. Whoever previous owner must have replaced them. That's actually on, and I'm not quite sure how to get the high beams to come on. But if you can tell, those are more LED-esque, which I don't really have a problem with. I need to get a front license plate bracket before it can be legally driven in the state of Missouri. It came with Jesus. That's a cross associated with a specific saint, but I'm not really sure. You see, something's broken with the fuel sending unit, so my gas always thinks it's full. And yeah, I know it's turned off, but even when you're driving down the interstate at a half tank, it'll still say it's full. So that's eventually one of the issues I have to deal with. This car may or may not be my daily driver throughout time, depending on how much work is done to it, because the way it's sitting right now, you see it's got rust issues here. But if someone were to deal with all the rust, this side is the worst side, especially with that big dent in there. With all its issues, it brings down the value, but if it were worth, we got a little hole in there too, but if it were worth too much, I wouldn't be able to drive it. Alright, if you guys have any specific questions about the car that I feel like answering, just give you a grill shot. Oh, baby. If there are any specific questions, just ask them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. Alright, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time, and I bet you guys hope to see this car again. I know I do.